Rebuilding teams is one of the things that I enjoy the most about playing college football, whether it's taking a team that hasn't won in forever and taking them to the promised land or rebuilding a program that were once on the top of college football. So I'm going to give you my top 10 for dynasty rebuilds for college football 27. My first rebuild is going to be out of Florida. It's going to be Florida International University, otherwise known as FIU. And the reason that I want to rebuild them is because they have some of the toughest unis with those Vice City unis. I absolutely love those. FIU hasn't had the greatest success in the game of football all time since 2004. I guess that's not all time, but since 2004, they are 92 and 168, which is, that's that's not very good at all. They've never been ranked in the top 25 polls. A house rule or house goal right there, just getting ranked in the top 25. And out of the 6 bowl games that they play, they're 2-4. But they are located in Florida, which allows for you to get some quality recruits and maybe be able to rebuild faster if you know what you're doing on the recruiting end. This is my first pick. This is number 10. Number 9 on my list is going to be Stanford. Although you don't really think of them as a football school anymore because, they're more of an academic school, academic powerhouse. Once upon a time, not too long ago, they were actually pretty solid in the early 2010s. And I feel like it's also part of football in general's history. And Pop Warner coached at Stanford. And, if you guys never heard of Pop Warner, for younger kids, that's the football league, is Pop Warner. So I feel like that's kind of monumental in itself. So it would be cool to see them back in contention at least. When they had guys like Christian McCaffrey, Andrew Luck, Toby Gerhardt, many others, they had a decent squad back in the early 2010s, late 2000s. And I think it would be fun to try to rebuild them because they have a good pipeline in Southern California. And then they have North Texas and Northern California, which are all fantastic pipelines. Help you easily, not easily, but helps you get a leg up in recruiting and being able to rebuild a program and take them to the promised land. My number 18 to start a dynasty with will be the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. I picked them because they have really cool uniforms. They have kind of a fun mascot, and they implement that into the uniforms where the helmet has just like eyes on it. Like, I think that's really cool. And they have these nice chrome helmets, and they are red, black, and white, which is, that's a GOAT colors to have for a uniform. And it's going to be a difficult rebuild because you see all the time they're barely hovering over 500. They have no Heisman winners, no national championships, and they've only been ranked inside the top 25 for 2 weeks total, all time. So, it's not historically like a rich program, but they do have a silver pipeline to Metro Atlanta, which is the top area to get talent out of, which, I know that's believe it or not, but that historically on the game has the best talent. So you could tap into that and, get the things rolling. So we'll go number 8, West Kentucky Hilltoppers. Number 7 on my list, I'm a bit biased with this one, is San Diego State. And the reason I'm biased about this is because on my online league with other users, I picked San Diego State because I had to pick a school with 1 star because I've been handing out belt the past few years. So I had to start lower than almost everybody else in the league. So I've started with San Diego State. I picked them because they have a level 4 Southern California pipeline, which is there's a lot of talent in Southern California. And they have cool colors with a cool uniform. So I had to stay there for at least 5 seasons. So that's why I went with them, because they have a good looking uniform and they have good pipelines already. So I think it's going to be a solid rebuild for me. Not necessarily easy because they are a 1-star program. So it's it's a challenge in itself. But you get some nice payoffs, some nice trade offs, I guess, with the pipeline and the location of the city of the college. And it's cool because they're not really like a powerhouse, so it's like an actual rebuild. It's not like taking over a team that's already good. You have to actually use strategy, and you see they only have 180 dynasty points available, so that's pretty tight to work with. You can't really just go in and upgrade everything off rip. You gotta get some wins under your belt and actually turn the program around to be able to start, spending money to upgrade the facilities, get better coaching staff, get better players, offer more NIL in the transfer portal, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, long with the answer. This is number 7 for me. Number 6 on my list is going to be the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I picked them 6 because even though, they're a 4-star program, I feel like they've had a very, very dominant streak in the 90s, which, that's almost 30 years ago. So it's been a while since they've been relevant on that type of level. But, they show flashes here and there. And I think that if you're like that on the sticks, you can win a championship with them in the first or second year. Like, and regain that dominance, basically. And I just sometimes when I'm making these lists, I just think about how somebody's been historically, and then if we've seen that recently or not. And we haven't seen that from Nebraska. We have not seen them be dominant. I mean, the last time they were any type of like a national contender was back when they had Ndamukong Suh, and they went crazy in the Big 12 championship game, and Ndamukong Suh had like 4.5 sacks or whatever. Crazy historical performance by him, but I mean, it's kind of a blip on our radar in the last 30 years. It's a flash in the pan. So I would like to see them get back to prominence, and if I took control of them, they would be back to prominence. But it's not going to be as difficult of a rebuild because they're 4-star program. They have 8,300 total dynasty points. Like, if you know what you're doing, you will be able to turn them around really, really quick and, win titles and be dominant with them immediately. Number 5, I'm going to go with UNLV because I really just think they're positioned to be great. Although they, for whatever reason in real life, that hasn't come to fruition. As you can see, they have a below 500 all-time record. You don't really think of UNLV as a football school. You think of them as a basketball school for winning, that title in 1990 against Duke, and having the crazy margin of victory and scoring as many points as they did. But I think you could kind of implement that into a football game and have them be a high octane offense. Like I said, I like to have little storylines about things, try to recreate things when I'm doing these rebuilds, or have, kind of house rules in mind for how I'm going to craft each rebuild so they feel a little bit different. They each have like a little different theme. And I think playing at the Raiders home field, Allegiant Stadium, is probably the best stadium in college football as far as amenities and stuff. It looks really cool in the game. That's a big draw. Having Southern California and East Texas be 2 of my top pipelines is a huge draw. And, it's not a winning program all the time. So it would be you righting the ship, and recruiting the correct quality players, being able to enhance those pipelines through winning games and, getting program builder and being able to beef up some of these pipelines and really make you a national contender. All while maybe even want to run the go-go offense, things like that. Like, I just think that's cool. And that's why they come in at number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list is going to be the West Virginia Mountaineers. And the reason that I picked them is because when I was a kid, this is the team that I would always use. And I had Pat White and Steve Slayton. And I would run the speed option. I don't know. I don't even, that might be the only play I ran. I was running speed option or some type of run with Pat White. And I used to have an absolute blast because they were so dominant. So I would try to recreate that and, bring the West Virginia Mountaineers to glory as I did when I was a child. So this would be more of a nostalgic thing for me. They have solid uniforms, with the navy and gold. Always a classic look. They have a good sized stadium. They have a little bit of not really a history of winning because, they see that they're over 500, but, they're a respectable program. They're in the Big 12, which, I feel like it's kind of anyone's for the taking. It's not really like somebody's dominating it. It's up for grabs. And I think we could go out and snatch that. So this will be my number 4 pick. Number 3 on the list is going to be Baylor. And I chose Baylor because I just always felt like they should be better than what they were, especially where they are, where they're located. As you can see, they have a purple pipeline with East Texas, which is the highest pipeline, obviously. They ain't North Texas, Southwest Texas. They have a stronghold on the state of Texas where some of the best players come out of. Then you got the kind of the legacy aspect of it with RG3 winning the Heisman and being as dominant as he was at Baylor. You could try to maybe recreate that with DJ Lagway transferring there. Obviously I know it's not nowhere near the same caliber of college player, but it's a video game. You can make with it with certain, if players have certain abilities, certain overalls, and, you can make them play out their body. So you might be able to recreate that. And if you recruit correctly, East Texas is one of the best pipelines. I can't remember if it was second or third in the testings that we did. But, it's a great potential. Also in the Big 12, just like West Virginia, up for the grabs where, you can get a championship, conference championship maybe in the first year if you're good on the sticks. Number 2, we're going to go with North Dakota State. Their first year in FBS after dominating FCS. I feel like this is kind of self-explanatory. It's first year program. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a much longer term rebuild. They, as you can see, it's fresh. Everything's fresh. There's zeros across the board except for NFL draft picks because they have been a dominant program. They put out quality players. Send a lot of players to the pros, and they have had no problems with that. They have a decent talent. As you can see, the top player is 87 overall, and they're in the Mountain West. So I think that they'll be able to compete off rip at the conference level. Depending on your skill, you got to be pretty decent and not cheese. Pretty decent with like an entire playbook to win a championship with teams that are, sub 70. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's possible, though. You can definitely do it. A little bit more difficult, though, because the AI in this new game with the zones and stuff like that it's a lot better. So it's gonna be a lot more realistic when you're playing against a team like Georgia or Alabama, where the team speed is overwhelming and players are bigger, faster, and stronger on average. But like I said, it's possible. So this will be a funner long-term rebuild. You got the storyline of them being kind of the underdogs nationally because it's their first year. It's only 2 pipelines. You got Minnesota and Big Sky. Neither one of those are historically great pipelines. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be difficult to tap into that, you're going to have to put on your thinking cap. So that's why that's my number 2. And the long awaited, here is my number 1 team to do a dynasty rebuild with. It's going to be the Kent State Golden Flashes. And I picked Kent State because if you thought North Dakota State was hard, these guys only have 410 dynasty points. No prestige stars. Have an all-time record of 231, 476, and 28.314 on their all-time winning percentage. This is a disaster. This is one of those rebuilds that are going to be very, very filling once you reach the mountaintop. These guys are not good. That's no disrespect. They're not good on the game. But their saving grace is they have pipelines to places with good talent. So if you're able to tap into this talent and start to, get the ball rolling, I think you could have a fun time doing it because, you don't have very many dynasty points to spend, so you're going to have to get creative. But once you get the ball rolling, you'll be able to be competitive for real, for real. Like, you're going to be able to get some dogs out of Ohio, Tidewater, Metro Atlanta. Also, they have very cool uniforms. They have uniforms that remind me of the San Diego Chargers back when LaDainian Tomlinson and Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates was out here putting BTA into the playoffs, obviously. But they have cool uniforms like that. They have a uniform with a nice little bolt on the side of the helmet. They have this dark, deep blue with the gold and yellow or gold, whatever color that is. I think it's a really nice looking uniform. And they have a variety. Those type of things keep the dynasties fresh for me because, obviously you get a team like Alabama or Wisconsin or Penn State or Notre Dame. Notre Dame's they got like a little bit of alternative stuff, but where teams where it's only a home jersey and away jersey and the same pants, or they don't have no different helmets. That starts to get a little bit old after a while because it's like you're just tired of seeing the same exact outfit every single time you play. And I know it's not about that. It's about everything else that, comes with like the gameplay and all the other stuff. But it does play a role when you're in year 15 and you're tired of playing at a stadium capacity of 25,000 and you have trash uniforms. Like that's, you want everything to elevate as you elevate because that would be realistic, But this is my number 1 team. If you want to see videos like this and more, we're doing all types of videos. The dynasty tips, a little bit of gameplay, stuff like that. Go ahead and subscribe and like the channel. Thanks for watching. If you like videos like this and you'd like to see some more, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.